So in the last week, Hims & Hers Healthcare and Wellness has soared up a huge 15% on the stock market. Will this trend continue? However, that is to be decided, and I'm going to be looking at some of the news and financials surrounding this company in order to depict whether or not this is still a good stock for your short-term or long-term investment. So what is Hims & Hers? Hims & Hers is an American health company that provides prescription and over-the-counter medications as well as personal care products. This is all done through their online platform. They dabble in a large range of products such as contraception pills all the way to men's hair loss prevention. So there is a wide skill set within this company. So taking a look at the financials of Hims & Hers Health, we can see a PE ratio of 54.89. That is very positive. They have a 5-day chart of 15.83% increase. In the last week, they have done absolutely amazing. I have got an AI video coming out where it did choose to invest in Hims & Hers for this week, so that was really interesting. That will be out either the day before this video or the day after, so Go visit the channel, see if it's on there. It is quite an interesting one. Earnings per share at 0.44, not ideal. And the market cap is at $5.276 billion US. It has also been a very good year for Hims & Hers. On the year-to-date chart, they are up 171%, which is just kind of ridiculous. That's up there with Palantir level sort of growth. So very, very interesting. With there being external factors dropping this stock, as Amazon says it will offer hair loss treatments, that did drop the stock slightly this week, which is very, very interesting. I might be looking into this shortly as my hairline is starting to creep back, so I will be keeping an eye on this. With that being said, let's jump over to a liquidity ratio concerning Hims & Hers Health. This is actually just amazing. I don't understand how their debt is so low. So essentially here we can see total cash to total debt ratio, as you want $1 to pay back your total debt in liquid cash, as in the world of business, cash is king. You want to see this ratio above 1, and Hims & Hers is consistently definitely above 1. I have never personally seen a company with such good liquidity ratios as this. Having a current ratio of 22, that's just crazy. Anyway, let's stop looking at the liquidity ratio because that's weird how good that is. And coming back to reality, their retention rate is not so good. Although saying that, in the previous quarter it is very good, but previously in the last year it hasn't been ideal, but it has been showing growth quarter on quarter with the exception of Q1 to Q2, and then Q3 just absolutely shot up. So it will be interesting to see where this heads in the next quarter. I do believe it will rise, hence why the price has risen significantly in the last week. This is definitely an interesting stock to be watching, as it just doesn't seem to be slowing down too much. And now looking at the free cash flow for Hims & Hers, this is pretty standard. If anything is really good, as you want to be seeing the free cash flow increasing quarter on quarter, and for Hims & Hers Health it definitely does. So that is definitely a positive thing for the company. So taking a quick look at the revenue for Hims & Hers, this is currently at 401 million, that is. Now we will take a look at the outlook for the fourth quarter. So Hims & Hers predicts a revenue of 465 million to 470 million. There's a huge increase. It's important to note that from the Q3 of this year compared to the year before, it is a 77% increase, which is a crazy number to grow within a year. So it's very clear to see that Hims & Hers doesn't expect any sort of slowing down within their growth. Very interesting. So moving on to TradingView, I use this for my short-term analysis. So looking at the Sharpe and Sortino ratio here, we have 2.23% and the Omega ratio is 1.34. This essentially measures up the short-term risk to short-term reward. And here we can see that there's not much short-term reward in here due to the risk, as the price is very high at the moment. However, it is still positive and there is still potential for short-term reward. Now if we take a look on MSN, we can see what the analysts seem to think will happen with this stock. And they predict a massive slide of volatility to occur in the next 90 days. Which I do see personally as well. This is my take. I do think it's going to drop slightly. And then going into here, I see a bounce back, a bullish bounce back. That's just my opinion though. That's just where I see this going due to their outlook. Furthermore, 13 analysts reckon it is a buy, not a strong buy or a hold or a sell, but a buy. As going into 25, we see a long-term growth, which I do definitely agree with. I do think that 77% year-on-year growth will start to slow down soon. I see it being more on the 40 to 50 side. So as Hims & Hers is solely an online company, it is important to look at how often they appear on Google search terms. So this is looking at a worldwide metric over the past 5 years, and we can see that this is steadily increasing. In fact, it has had a big increase within the last year, which will back up the earnings in which they have received. So here we can see quite an interesting comparison. We can see here on these are both 5-year charts. There is a slight spike here, and furthermore, this matches it pretty much perfectly. So it's definitely an important metric to consider with this stock, and I do see that it has started to decline slightly recently. So we might see a decline in sales. However, that won't be visible until the Q4 earnings report is out. But nevertheless, I do see this still is going to rise. I don't think this is a long-term lack of custom for Hims & Hers. I think it's just a short-term lack of search trend. So this is very important to note. Furthermore, I always find this slightly interesting. The interest by region is the United States, Sri Lanka, United Kingdom, Singapore and Finland. So that concludes my analysis for Hims & Hers. So on a scale of A to F, I give Hims & Hers a short-term rating of a D and a mid to long-term rating of a B. This is due to the many factors in which I've mentioned, such as the increase from 23 to 24 of 77%. I see that slightly dropping, but I do see that trend continuing. And I do see high volatility within the short-term market, as the Sharpe and Sortino ratio and the Omega ratio didn't seem to think that the market was too bullish for the reward to risk. I think that is just due to the fact how high the price is right now at $24.15, which is actually a all-time high for the company. So I do think it is a bit of a risk short term. Long term, I will definitely be putting some money aside for this stock. However, I'm not a financial advisor. I am a finance noob and idiot. This is just for entertainment purposes only. You should always do your own research before buying into a stock. This is just my personal opinion. So I'm trying to hit 300 subscribers by the end of the year. If you could subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for the next.